Intro music. Welcome to Beating a Dead Horse, the podcast where we take the things that have been talked to death and talk about them some more. Please submit topics to Twitter at hojjoshMC, hashtag Beating a Dead Horse. The podcast is recorded live at twitch.tv/hojjoshMC, so if you haven't caught one live, come and check it out every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And now, your hosts, Josh and Jonathan. This is Beating a Dead Horse. All right. Well, welcome, guys, to episode 4?
Yeah.
4 of Beating a Dead Horse. This is the episode that should not have been, apparently. So Jonathan and I don't live that far apart from each other. It's probably like a 10-minute drive on a bad day. And
I thought I had a ride lined up today, and apparently I did not.
So he tells me, I'm like, you got a ride? You need me to come by and get you whatever? He's like, no, I got it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Basically, if that happens, when he has a ride, he gets here about 6. And then he comes in at 6. We set up the lights. A lot of times he'll eat some food. I've normally already eaten at that point. And then we just kind of come in here and kind of chill. We pull up different stories and stuff. And we kind of get ready for what's going on. So, we didn't get to do that today because you texted me and Jonathan was like, well, my car is acting weird. I should be there a little after 6.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. I'll go, play around on the internet for a while, wait for you, and then whenever you get here, we'll go. And I got another message later that was like, oh, just kidding, I need you to come pick me up. And so I did have to do that. So I had to go pick him up. And but he's here now. So for those of you here in the stream and those of you that are going to watch later on YouTube, we worked really hard to get here, and we started only a few minutes after 7.
Right.
So that's an accomplishment. One thing I want to say before we get too into it, I do want to say you guys on Twitter, especially this week, have been way more helpful with helping with topic ideas. You guys actually sent us a bunch.
Yeah.
So good job. That means we don't have to use the random topic generator as much, because who wants to talk about that? I really want to make this show about what you guys want to hear us talk about and want to see. And so it really helps us when you do that. And in a minute, I'm going to sneeze, and I just want to warn you, that's going to happen. That maybe not now that I said something about it.
Right.
But in that last little thing, I was like, I'm about to sneeze.
You have a warning, just in case.
In the middle of this, my sneezy sense is going off. Anyway, thank you guys for coming by. Thank you for submitting topics. Continue to do that. You can send them to me at hojjoshMC or him at this guy, that one.
Him.
Jonathan
at him.
At BeachJD. Is that correct?
That is correct.
At BeachJD. You can send them to him. Hashtag, hey, Chris. Not hashtag hey Chris, hashtag BADH or hashtag Beating a Dead Horse. But if you send it to us with either of those combinations of things, we'll see it. And we'll take it into consideration. And today, into consideration means if you sent it to us, we used it. That's pretty much what it means.
Yeah.
And we got some good ones today. Some of the ones we got today I'm really excited to talk about because they're things that I was going to talk about anyway. But it's good to know that you guys wanted us to. So, without further ado, I am going to go to a random question generator first, just to kind of loosen us up. And I think this is a good one. If you could have one superpower, what would it be? You could have one superpower. Just one, though.
Just one. I don't know how this would work for me because I'm not a big heights person.
Right.
But flying would still be pretty cool.
Flying? Yeah, I don't know. Flying terrifies me.
Well, it would terrify me too, but I still think it would be a cool power to have. I may rethink that after I get up in the air.
Because I just think of okay, so it's a form of movement.
Yeah.
And forms of movement are not, in fact, perfect. For example, I know how to walk, and I should know how to run.
Right.
But I don't always do those perfectly.
Correct.
So I feel like if I walk or run imperfectly, it's just annoying, maybe hurts a little bit. But if you fly imperfectly, you can
be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be dead. And so that scares me. I don't think
that's a valid concern.
For me, I don't know, man. I rag on him all the time, but I honestly think Wolverine's healing factor would be cool.
That's true.
I mean, I make fun of it all the time because I just don't think that, like, he's a good superhero, but I think that would be a cool superpower to have, especially since, like, you just never die.
Right.
Or at least not die for a really long time.
For a
Though, apparently, and we're going to talk about comics a little bit later, but apparently they're killing off Wolverine. Like, Marvel has been announcing his death for a couple of months now. Mm-hmm. So, I'm excited.
This should be interesting.
Yep. All right, so, hey, welcome to those that are coming in a little bit late. That's fine. We love you anyway. We'd love you more if you showed up on time. I'm just kidding. It's totally cool. We're talking superpowers, and I would like a healing factor, and Jonathan would like the power of flight, apparently. In theory, the power of flight. I don't know. I guess, like, teleportation's a cool one, too.
I mean, teleportation would probably be easier for me, probably, because I'm not a big fan of heights.
But then
but then you have the same problem of, like, how do you...
You do it perfectly.
Right. I don't want to, like, teleport into a wall or something. You know?
No. That always terrifies me. Like, the idea of, like, I could get stuck in a wall. You would need to know where you're going. I'm about to get... You guys are about to hate me, but I don't like Wolverine at all. Here's why. Okay, so the very first X-Men movie. Who do we meet? Wolverine.
Of course.
And it's all like, where did this guy come from? What's he about? Blah, 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 blah. Then you get to the second movie, and it's like, here is his origin story a little bit. Here's some more of it. And you're like, okay, I thought we covered this already.
Mm-hmm.
And then they make X-Men Origins Wolverine, and I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a gosh darn minute. We did this in 2 movies already.
Correct.
And then we get the Wolverine, and I'm like, whoa, enough. I don't care anymore. There are way better X-Men. And then we get another Wolverine movie coming soon, and this new X-Men Days of Future Past is about who? Wolverine. I'm just like, I don't know. No. The power of the universe. Is that a superpower? I don't know. Is that a superpower? Power of the universe? I get a lot of hate for not liking Wolverine, and I really don't care. I think he's okay. I think the adamantium claws are cool. Now, there's a debate whether or not you think he actually had bone claws to begin with, or if you think... So, if he didn't have bone claws, which is the version I choose to subscribe to, then the claws are completely, like, after the fact. They're completely... they're aftermarket. And so, it doesn't count. Wolverine's not the best, and I will stand by it until the day I die, or till the day he dies, which is going to be soon. Ha ha ha. Na boo boo. Stick your head in doo doo. So... That's that. Wolverine. Alright, let's look at a real user-generated question. And so Jonathan is not a huge gamer. I've told you guys that, but you're gonna try to hold your own with some of these.
Yeah.
So the first one that I want to deal with is the idea of movies based on games. So movies based on games.
You know, I feel like this is pretty much either really great ideas or really horrible ideas.
Okay.
The movie Battleship, like that's like not a good idea.
Oh, you took it board game. Okay.
Well, I could go numerous places
for sure. But Battleship like did really well, didn't it? Like not in America, but like everywhere else.
But it just was not a great movie in my opinion.
All right. I didn't see it.
You probably don't want to waste time. Like Tomb Raider was like, it's a decent movie. I
didn't watch that one. I've seen Mortal Kombat. So to me, like a good video game movie, Resident Evil was good.
I mean, Scott Pilgrim was good.
Yeah, it wasn't really a video game. It is a video game, but it was based for the movie.
Right.
So... We got a lot of video game stuff, but no. Like, so Resident Evil is good, but the thing about Resident Evil is it's not really following the game as much because a lot of those characters are not, in the beginning, are not game characters.
I didn't see Need for Speed, but I don't feel like I probably will see Need for Speed.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I think the idea is good. I get it. As a gamer, there are times... I would love to see, this story in a movie. I think it's a little redundant in this day and age because to me, some of our games feel like movies.
Yeah.
So, like The Last of Us, I would watch. I would watch that as a movie. Like I would watch that story as a movie.
Yeah.
Almost more than I want to play it because, as I've said many times, I don't like The Last of Us. And I'm gonna get shot one of these days for saying stuff like that. I
had anxiety trouble just watching you play The Last of Us. So.
But yeah, so like that game is like already a movie, so I don't know that it needs a movie. Like graphically, it's just as good. It's a CG movie in and of itself that you play. So I don't know that we need them as much. Now, every now and then I get it. I can get behind it. Like I said, Resident Evil is cool.
I mean, I think if you have a good storyline, if you have something to actually pull from a game perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, I know are they still making Assassin's Creed?
They keep talking about it, which would be, I think it'd be a good one.
So, I mean, I think that piques my curiosity, A, because I've heard that possibly Michael Fassbender could be attached to it.
Yeah, he was for a while at least.
So I don't know if he still is or not, but I think if you have something that is, has a story that you could, feasibly be a movie.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Of course, more and more. I mean, more video games are that way anyway. I feel like.
I mean, and you got like your Warcraft movie is coming out.
Yeah.
So they're working on that. I think it has potential to be okay.
Yeah.
But you've had other movies that try to do it. I mean, it's just a huge list of really bad movies. I mean, the Mario Brothers movie you guys mentioned is awful.
It's awful. Yeah.
Mario and Luigi Mario. So dumb. But those guys, that movie was awful. They tried to do like several Dungeons and Dragons movies, which were not very good. No. They tried. They did a Double Dragon movie, didn't they?
I think so.
It was awful too. So yeah, I mean, I just think games that I think could pull it off. I mean, a Mass Effect movie would be pretty good. Yeah. Because you got the story. Any like RPG is gonna.
Well, I mean, Halo was tried several times.
I don't care. That's just because I don't like Halo. I mean, I
don't really care either.
I'm a fanboy of. Red Dead Redemption. I think could make a good movie.
Yeah.
I think there's potential, but I think it has to be the right things and not just like. And the other thing, the reason I think Resident Evil makes it as a video game movie is because it doesn't try too hard to include everything. So, like, sure, it takes place in Raccoon City, which is where the Resident Evil games take place. Mm-hmm. But the main character is not a character from the game, as far as I can remember. Yeah. Unless I'm totally getting that wrong, but not the ones I played. She's definitely not. And so I think it works on a better level. Something being in the same universe and not necessarily being the game that you played, right. I think works too.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, I think it can work. Someone in the chat asked, and I'll say for your sake that are watching on YouTube, someone in the chat asked, what about movies from books? Yeah, we get those all the time. I mean, you guys mentioned in the chat Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Heck, Star Wars was a book.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think there's lots of them, and lots of them are good, and most of them. Hunger Games. What was that one I just watched? Divergent. Yeah, that one was good. And so yeah, I think obviously we're gonna get movies from books.
Yeah.
Now the trick is, and I know everybody always says it. Well, the book was better.
Right.
That phrasing is stupid. Of course it is.
Yeah, of course the book. Yeah, of course the book's better. The book is also, if we were to turn the book into the actual copy of the movie, it would be,
And I think the
9
closest
hours of footage,
The closest one we have to being close to the book would be Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And even that has to take liberties and change things and cut out things, and you have to do that because otherwise it would be a bajillion years long.
Yeah.
Which some would argue that Lord of the Rings already is a bajillion years long.
I mean, even with The Hobbit, you have a pretty short book that they managed to stretch into 3 movies.
Yeah.
That still isn't exactly everything.
For sure.
The Book Thief is excellent, too. Yeah.
I haven't read that. So, someone said music... Oh, music based on games. Song parodies. Okay. Well, I think we all know how I feel about song parodies. You got any thoughts on song parodies?
I mean, I love them. I don't make them because that would be horrible for everyone to listen to them. But, yeah, Catching Fire was pretty close. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. I don't know that I have a whole lot of extra to add to that.
Obviously, I don't hate them because I make several of them, and you guys were listening early. If you were here early, I'm always playing music that I wrote or that I put out, and most of them are parodies. I will say this. Parodies require a little bit of extra attention especially when you're dealing with YouTube, because at least to do it well now, like you need to put a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort. Most of us now that make parodies feel the need to get in contact with like the publishers of the music, because if you don't, you're going to get third-party content matched, and then nobody makes anything.
Right.
They're very stressful. They're hard to do. I could churn out a lot more than I do, but they'd be worth like a dime a dozen if I did that. And so yeah, I do them when they really hit me. Like I'll be listening to a song, and I'm like, boom, there's your hook right there. Like I hear a song. Okay, so right now I'm working on a song right now with Aurelian, and I was listening to the song "Fancy" by Iggy Azalea, and she hits the chorus, and the chorus is like, "I'm so fancy, you already know," and already my mind went, "I'm so crafty." And just like boom, it clicked. Mm-hmm. And so from there, like this kind of crafty was the impetus, isn't that the right word, for creating all the rest of the song.
Yeah.
And I did it because like when I thought I'm so crafty, I went, I can't not make this.
Right.
And so I think what happens with a lot of people is they put out parodies and they're just boom, 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 because they're money makers, and they are on YouTube especially. But I try to put more effort and energy and time into them. And also, there's so many really bad parodies out there. They're just not good. Like, here's the thing. Honestly, if you're going to do a parody, do the original song justice. Like, a parody should make you at least go and listen to the original song. You may not. You may like the parody more. But a lot of parodies I hear are like, oh, that's so bad.
Yeah. Not
everybody can sing, and that's okay. But just stop trying to if you can't.
That's our PSA for today's show.
Bad. Yeah. It's bad. And then I feel bad because I get emails all the time that are like, hey, I wrote these lyrics for you to sing on a parody. I can't sing. You can have the lyrics. And they're always awful.
Yeah.
They're always awful. I don't know where you people learn to rhyme or how to match syllables, but some of the people that send me songs like is awful. It's awful. What did we think of SNL? What do you mean? What do we think of SNL? You have to tell me what you mean. Someone in the chat asked what we think of SNL. We'll come back to that because I don't know what they were talking about. But let's look at another question real quick. The question is, I'm going to skip these. We're going to do this because this is a good one. So, the question is that we'll get to in a second is movie you love that everyone else hates. Which I think is an interesting one.
Oh, I have a good answer for that.
So, what is a movie you love that everyone else hates?
I think we probably share this. We might share this opinion. I'm not sure, but okay. So the fourth Indiana Jones movie.
Yep.
Okay, so
yeah,
it was pretty much universally hated.
Yep.
And I was totally cool with it.
Awesome. I loved it. Here is the thing. So, what you're going to have to do to be able to deal with this conversation is you're going to have to forget what you think you remember about Indiana Jones, because people
you have to remove the nostalgia.
Yeah.
At least if you're like older than me.
Yeah, so people put like, here's the original trilogy of Indiana Jones.
Right.
And it's like, it's up here on a pedestal.
Right.
And almost like the first movie. People just think it's right there. They think it's up there on this pedestal. It's this beautiful thing that it's so beautiful. You gotta have it. And I don't know, man. The thing is, it's not. If you watch the original trilogy again of Indiana Jones, and it is what it is. It's trying to replicate a dime store novel Western feel. Like, not Western, but like adventure feel.
Right.
And it does that. If you read those, they're all about, like, supernatural, like, things, like cults and all that stuff, and they're dealing with, like, adventuring and stealing treasures and all that stuff, all that kind of occultish stuff mixed in with adventuring and, like, crypts and all that stuff. All of that. And then you fast forward to when we get the new movie, and the whole point of it was to be, like, the 50s sci-fi things.
Right.
That is the style they were trying to replicate. It was not the original adventurer 50s dime store novel.
Right.
It was... not 50s dime store novel, but like whatever time period that was. But they're dealing with the sci-fi, so it's a different feel. It's a different thing entirely.
Well, I mean, all of the criticism was based around the ending of it being an alien-involved ending.
Yes.
Which was confusing to me because I feel like if you, not that I'm an expert on crystal skulls or that whole kind of thing, but I do know like the main folklore behind that is alien based. I mean that's kind of the whole thing, and so it wasn't shocking to me that aliens are involved.
No,
especially since the first 10 minutes of the movie, it's pretty apparent like what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So it was confusing to me that that's like somehow a knock against it.
Yeah.
And it was. I mean, there were parts of it that I did not like. I could have dealt without the monkeys and a couple scenes, but like overall, like it still had the campiness that the original three had. And I think
that's the main thing. People forget the originals were campy too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They don't think, because I don't know, something about that Indiana Jones theme. I think it makes people think it's more impressive than it is.
Yeah.
It's not impressive. The movies are great. I love them.
Yeah, they're great movies.
But I love the first three, and I love the fourth one. I put them together, and you know what? If they make another Indiana Jones movie, I'll probably like it. I don't really see why I wouldn't, unless they just completely butchered it. But honestly, like, I put up with like young Indiana Jones.
It's true.
And I just feel like I could do that.
I actually agree. Is it John Carter? Is that what
John Carpenter?
Oh no,
Who is that?
I thought it said John Carter. I'm sorry.
Jonathan can't read.
I can't read. To be fair, this print is very small.
John Carpenter, is that that guy?
I don't know.
Googling. I don't know who that is. This guy. It's this guy. What did he do? No, lots of things. By the time I figure it out, you'll have told me in the chat.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, so that movie, that's a good one. Do I have another one though? I'm trying to think. Look, my movie shelf over there. I don't know. I tend to get a lot of movies that people really like are kind of acclaimed.
And I was trying to think of something else that Indiana Jones is the first thing that pops in my head because that's one I've had discussions about several times. Yeah,
now TV shows is an easier one. My guilty pleasure TV show is Degrassi.
Yeah.
Degrassi: The Next Generation. Not
that.
Which sounds like a comic book. The Next Generation. It's not.
Generation.
It's a very overly dramatic Canadian teen soap opera.
Yeah.
Which I'll binge watch. It has the best part. It has Aubrey Graham, who we all know as Drake, the rapper, plays in it, and it's so intense and so over the top and so ridiculous. So yeah, I'm super into that. That's my go-to. Do you have a show that you like that nobody likes?
I don't know. I feel like show-wise, I watch a lot of stuff that probably is, I guess, critically acclaimed for the most part. I don't know. I can't think of a show that everybody. I mean, I really like the Lost. I mean, some people hated some seasons of Lost.
Yeah, I liked Lost all the way through.
But I feel like Lost that's not a really great example because.
No, I liked Lost all the way through.
Oh, it was Carter.
There was that one show. I loved it. I don't know if anybody hated it. I just don't know of anybody else that watched it. But it was maybe NBC. It was last year sometime. It was supposed to be a reality show, but it wasn't a reality show.
Oh, yeah.
can't remember what it's called now.
I watched episodes with you.
Yeah. And I don't know that anybody hated it. I just don't know anybody that watched it other than me.
What was that?
And Julie, my wife.
I can't remember what that show was called.
Anyway, it was good. Music. You got any music you like that no one likes?
I'm sure I do. I
say like nobody likes, but I mean like it's kind of like universally hated.
I don't know if it's universally hated. Toxic by Britney Spears is still like my jam.
I still love that song.
I don't know if that's universally hated or not, but
a lot of people don't like it.
But I like that one.
Kesha.
Yeah.
You know, I know there are a lot of people that like Kesha, but a lot of people I know don't like Kesha.
It's true.
And I will argue you, and hopefully I probably win. But Kesha's most recent album is so good, so good. Like all the way through, I listened to it. I swear to you, I bought it and it was in my CD player for like 2 months straight. I was just Kesha on repeat. So yeah, I mean, I think things appeal to different people in different ways. And apparently, according to this guy in the chat, you're a closet ICP fan. That'd probably be me before it'd be you.
Probably, yeah.
But no, I don't think I like them a lot. Is there like a rapper I like that nobody likes? I mean, I love Lil Wayne. Yeah. A lot of people hate Lil Wayne, but a lot of people love him too. But a lot of people don't like him, and I love him. Lil Wayne, Drake, and pretty much any Young Money, I'll take it. I even like 2 Chainz a little bit.
2 Chainz.
I'll dig on some 2 Chainz. Oh, I know one that nobody likes. Krayshawn. I listen to Krayshawn, and nobody likes her. They probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't, but I do for some reason. Anyway, moving right along. What else do we got here? So this is something you can probably comment on, Jonathan. You have an Xbox.
I do.
And so right now, if you wanted to watch Netflix or something like that on your Xbox, you would have to have Xbox Live.
Right.
Gold, correct?
Gold, yeah.
So that's gone. That's about to be gone.
Right.
They're taking it away. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think inevitably it's probably a good move for them, just because I don't pay for gold anymore, and so I wasn't going to pay for gold just to watch Netflix because I can watch it on literally every other device I have in my living room for free. Well, not for free, but to watch it.
Yeah, I'm already paying for these things.
I have a smart TV I can watch Netflix on. I have my iPhone. I have iPad. I have Apple TV.
Exactly.
So definitely would not pay that to just watch Netflix or any of the other like third-party content that they're streaming.
Yeah, I think
it's smart for them.
I think for them, I don't know that it's. I mean, it's smart they're doing it. It's not smart that it took them so long.
No, I mean, I think it's probably doesn't matter now. As far as, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
From a selling standpoint.
I think at this point, people probably already have like 15 other things in their living room that play Netflix.
I mean, literally, I think everything you buy now has it on there.
Yeah.
DVD player, Blu-ray player.
I bought a toaster.
Toaster oven, Netflix. The new refrigerator.
Ceiling fan.
Everything.
Everything does, yeah, for sure. And I think that proves like a valid point. Like, Xbox One was supposed to be like, with the one thing in your living room. And like up until now, that one thing like doesn't work out the box to be the one thing.
Well, I don't know if I think I read this today where they were talking about that they're going to remove Kinect from it.
Yeah, that was going to be the next thing I was going to talk about.
Okay.
So they finally have said we're going to remove Kinect. You can buy an Xbox One that doesn't have Kinect for $399.
Right.
Which is to directly compete with the PS4.
Right.
That retails. Is it $399? I think it's $399.
I think so.
So it retails at the same price point. So yeah, I mean that's. Here's the thing that is kind of cool, scary, cool. I don't know. So Xbox announces that like today, and we're a couple of weeks out from E3. So why do we get it today unless they have something crazy planned for E3? So it's kind of exciting, even being like a PlayStation gamer. It's kind of exciting to me because I feel like everyone's been talking about the console wars. As far as I'm concerned, until now there has been no war because you had Xbox. It was a completely different price point. I mean, granted, you're going to get a lot of the same things, but it's a completely different price point. So it's not really a war. If it is, it's not a fair one.
Right.
But now with them selling a version without Kinect, which by the way the PS4 does not sell with its camera either.
Right.
It's gonna be a more even playing field. I will say this: I think that is the nail in the coffin for Kinect.
Well, I think the only thing that's weird about it is I feel like a lot of the One's features is directed around the Kinect.
Yeah, but I really think because if I'm a developer.
No, I'm not saying it from a developer standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's a little weird to tout Kinect.
Yeah.
And then, but you can still buy it without it, even though...
Yeah, especially since, if you remember back to when they first announced the console, they're like, no, you need Kinect.
Right. Which, I mean, I have Kinect. I rarely use Kinect, but I mean...
Yeah. I just bought the camera for my PlayStation the other day for my PS4. Mm-hmm. It's cool. It's not more than like a toy.
Right.
I mainly got it for when I live stream for my PS4. I can actually have camera footage now. But yeah, it's not a huge deal, and I don't think it's going to be used that much. I think Kinect is going to be more of a thing that people play with. I don't think if I'm a developer, I'm not going to spend time developing for Kinect, especially not when Microsoft just basically splintered the market.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to spend time on it because it's a gimmick at best.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm going to spend time. Just like, even to be honest, I have the PlayStation camera, but I don't expect anybody to be using it. I don't expect developers to catch on. I just don't think they're going to.
Yeah. One interesting thing I did read yesterday was apparently they asked Bill Gates what he thought about splitting Xbox off as a separate entity. And he wasn't for the idea, but he wasn't exactly against the idea. Mm. Which also leads to, I think, some interesting possibilities if they were to split it.
For sure. Okay, let's look at this. So, your thoughts on the net neutrality issue?
Oh, yeah.
So what you think?
Well, I think it's gravely important. I don't think it's talked about enough, actually.
Yeah.
It's definitely not on the news very much at all that I see.
No, I see it a lot on Reddit, but that's...
Yeah, it's to be expected on Reddit.
That's about it.
I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I think everybody would have a pretty strong opinion on here if they started getting charged for services that they use the internet for separately on their ISP provider.
Yeah, for sure.
If I'm paying for access to Gmail, but then I have an extra charge for Netflix and an extra charge for YouTube and an extra charge for no, that's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, it's bull. It doesn't. It bothers me that it's even a thing that we talk about.
And the FCC doesn't seem to be getting their act together with it anyway.
No, not lately. And it's very frustrating. It's frustrating that we had to deal with this. I mean, it seems like every couple of months we end up dealing with it again.
Yeah.
And we shut it down, and then we deal with it again. Shut it down and deal with it again. It's like, I don't know if they keep doing it. It's because they hope that eventually we'll not pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's bullcrap. You can't do that. You can't change the way the internet works.
I agree.
I mean, not something that's so established. I mean, it is kind of Wild West of ideas and thoughts, and I get that. You can't try to change it. Throttling services is ridiculous. It doesn't need to happen. I mean, you pay to get access to the internet. That's the thing. It kills me even the way we do internet now. Anyway, already it kills me because it's. Well, it's a thing that exists.
I mean, the U.S. is already so far behind in internet speed than anybody else anyway.
It's just frustrating because, basically the way I look at it is the internet is there whether we have a connection to it or not right now. I mean, it exists. It's a thing that's out there.
Yeah.
And so what you do is you pay someone to allow you to access this thing that exists. Very much like you pay someone to let you access water and things like that.
Right.
But you pay a blank price to get to it, and you shouldn't have to pay more. The only time I think you should ever have to pay more would be because with water, I mean, you use a lot of water, you pay a lot of money. I get the idea of people that use exorbitant amounts of data having to pay a little bit extra. I get it. It's stupid because it doesn't effectively cost that company anymore, whereas a thing like water actually does.
Right.
But I understand their concept. Their thought is, well, if you use a lot of water, you get a higher water bill. If you use a lot of internet data, I get their thinking. I think it's stupid, but I get it. But as far as like, oh, user blank is using a lot of data, let's throttle their speeds.
Right.
Is ridiculous, and there's countries that do it.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. You should. I think we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's places it can be done. Like, in fact, I didn't know this. I was watching John Oliver's show earlier before you got here, and apparently, internet access is listed as a basic human right now.
Interesting.
And so to be trying to like affect that and change that, all for the sake of like making more money.
No, of course.
It's very frustrating.
No, it's usually the case for almost everything.
I like to say, and I would like to hope that it's not going to go through. I don't think it has a lot of potential, but this most recent time around, it didn't gain the type of traction it gained the last time around. And so I don't know, man.
Well, you have all the main ISP and cable providers that are obviously pushing hard to make this a thing. That's the thing that drives me crazy with Comcast is now we're trying to they're trying to even get even bigger than they are,
right?
And yet still throw their weight around to try to make. I mean, Netflix is already making payments to them to get their speed, back up.
Ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, I think you just can't change it. It exists now. This is what it is. This is how it works. You can't change it. You can't decide, oh, we can monetize it and make better money. Stop it. Just,
Yeah.
Do your job. Your job is to provide access. Just do that. Just do that. Do it the way you said you were going to do it. Don't change things on us. Don't try to say, oh, we're going to charge you, blank more money, or we're going to throttle your speeds. Right. Because it's ridiculous. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And if it happens, it'll cripple the internet. I'm just going to hold to that. It will cripple the internet. So, the next thing, and a lot more of a happier thing, I guess, would be the new picture that just came out today of Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, let me see, can I pull up? No, it doesn't take me too long. Ben Affleck as Batman. Thoughts?
I dig it, I think. I mean, it's very kind of retro. I mean, not entirely retro, obviously, because he's still like in kind of a futuristic looking deal, but it kind of has the real short kind of ears.
I like the short ears.
It's kind of like kind of like the old Adam West version almost, or like a lot of the comics, even the older comics at the same time. I think the coloring scheme will be interesting. I'm curious if there's going to be any.
Yeah, because that picture's in grayscale.
Yeah, it's all in grayscale, which I figure it's that way for a reason.
Yeah. I do too. I think maybe it's going to be gray. Yeah, that's my thought.
I think you're right.
I think you're going to get a gray bodysuit, and I think the top it'll be a darker gray, but not completely black. I don't think it'll be completely black. I'm thinking a little bit lighter, like a darker gray.
I'm actually even curious if there's going to be some blue on it.
I am a little, but I don't know.
Not like bright blue, but I don't know.
So maybe the helmet part would be.
I'm wondering if
the cowl,
the cowl and cape area
would be maybe like a dark blue.
I think a dark blue would look pretty bad, actually. I mean, not bad as in horrible, but
I'm trying to think. Is kind of like here, maybe.
Yeah,
in this range.
Ish.
A little bit darker. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think so. I think I could see it.
The bat logo is huge. That is one thing that
it is
struck me.
Large. So while we're on the topic, how do you feel about Batfleck?
I don't think I ever really had a huge problem with it.
Yeah.
I think initially it was just kind of an odd choice, but I say that because I don't really know who else I would envision playing Batman necessarily right off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm as worried about it now that I've seen other cast members that have been added to the movie.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in a bad way, but I just think it's a very interesting casting choice. I'm still not really sure what I think about Jesse Eisenberg.
And
a couple other things like that. But and I'm less worried almost about cast as I am of them just overstuffing this movie.
Okay, so I'll take that in two different pieces. I'm 100% okay with Ben Affleck being Batman. First of all, if you take every actor that's ever played Batman and you mash them all together, they basically look like Ben Affleck. Someone did that on Reddit, and it's that guy. He's that guy. The other thing is this Batman is supposed to be kind of a more seasoned, kind of older guy, which I think works tremendously being Ben Affleck.
Sure.
Ben Affleck is a good actor. Not only is he a good actor, he's a good director. So there's a part of me that's hoping he'll sort of rein Zack Snyder in.
Right.
Because Zack Snyder is nothing if not inconsistent.
Right.
And so Superman was a good movie. So I kind of worry that the next one will be awful.
Right.
Because, 300 was a good movie, and then his next one was awful.
Yeah.
That tends to be his MO.
Well, sequels are tricky things anyway, already. I mean, they just have to me, at least, the variance.
I'm not even talking about the sequel of 300. I'm talking about,
No, I'm talking about for
Superman. Batman Superman?
Yeah. I won't get started on 300. But I just feel like you have you have all this grandiose plans for a sequel that doesn't necessarily always need to be there.
Right.
And a lot of the times it weakens the picture, in my opinion.
I'm gonna answer that. Ever since Daredevil, Knievel says this. Ever since Daredevil, he's lost all credibility with me. That's not his fault, though.
No, it's not.
So what happens is when you're an actor, you're handed a role and they say, do these lines. And so Ben Affleck did that, and Daredevil happened to be a terrible movie. But here's the thing. If you understand the story of why he took Daredevil, Ben Affleck loves Batman. He has always loved Batman. And after the George Clooney train wreck that Batman became, Ben Affleck, along with George Clooney, thought that they would never make another Batman movie again.
Right.
George Clooney has said many times that he thought he single-handedly ran Batman into the ground. Ben Affleck felt the same way, and so what he did is what any self-respecting comic book nerd would do, and went, my favorite version of Batman is Frank Miller. What's something else Frank Miller has done? Well, that turned out to be Daredevil. And so when he goes, they're going to make a Daredevil movie, he latched onto it because he's like, well, if I can't play Batman the way I want to do it, I'll play another Frank Miller character. And so he took Daredevil, and then it turned out to be awful. That is not his fault. He didn't write those lines. Yeah. He didn't direct those scenes. He didn't choose, the costumes for that movie. He did what he was told to do because he's an actor. So you can't say that Daredevil made him lose credibility with you because none of that is his fault. His acting in that movie is not awful. It's as good as it can be given the terrible script. But watch a movie like Argo. Watch a movie like The Town, or you watch those movies and you see the guy can act.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing. What is Batman? He's a guy who has this really deep character with lots of layers. He'll do anything he needs to do to make things happen. What is Ben Affleck's character in Argo? A guy that's really deep with a lot of layers to do anything he needs to make something happen. He's already got the attitude. He can pull the attitude. I want to hear what his voice sounds like. I definitely don't. I definitely don't want him to be like super Boston on me.
Yeah.
I don't need Batman to go park the car in the garage. I don't need that. Gotham.
I also don't want the.
Why it turned into Christopher Walken real quick.
I need more cow.
To Gotham City.
Yeah, and then the flip side of that is I don't really want, sinus infection, grovelly Batman either.
Yeah, I don't like.
I mean, what generally I love Nolan's work on those three films, but the voice change from like the first to the second one was just pretty intense.
Where's Dirt?
Yeah.
I just can't.
Which I get. I mean, I understand the reasoning, but at the same time,
no. Christian Bale is an overactor. He is arguably I will say, I mean it too, arguably the worst Batman we've ever had. And that's including, I mean, you got George Clooney, Christian Bale.
He's got nowhere to go but up.
I mean, George Clooney is the worst. I'll give him that. But Christian Bale is the next one. I don't believe him as Bruce Wayne. I don't believe him as Batman. I think he's an over-actor. I hate his voice. I don't like him as a person outside of a movie.
Right.
I don't like it. Michael Keaton is fantastic. I think he is probably our best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. As far as when I say that, I mean I look at Batman as really one actor has to play two very different roles. You have to play Bruce Wayne, and you have to play Batman.
Yeah. And
those two people, quote unquote, are played entirely different ways. So that's why I'll say, while George Clooney is an awful Batman, he's a fantastic Bruce Wayne. Because all Bruce Wayne is a rich dude.
Yeah.
And George Clooney is a rich dude, and he plays it well. While Michael Keaton makes a great Batman, he doesn't make a fantastic Bruce Wayne, but I can believe it.
Well, he makes a good, like, awkward Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, it works. And it was always an older movie, so it kind of fit the style. Val Kilmer is somewhere in between for me.
Yeah, I feel like Val Kilmer worked better as Bruce Wayne than Batman for me.
Yeah, he did.
But I think that's only because I don't really love that movie or the Clooney one. Just, I mean, even the style, everything about those movies.
Well, that was a choice that was made mostly. It's weird. Was mostly by like McDonald's.
Yeah, I know.
Because of McDonald's.
And I realized they were going for a more lighthearted direction. But Batman Returns, the second Michael Keaton movie, is a great movie.
Yeah.
And so I am curious to see with Snyder just kind of what direction Batman is taking. I mean, it's definitely to me, at least from the look, is still kind of in the Nolan vein of.
See what I think people do.
As far as stylized,
people talk and they're like, "Oh, Christian Bale was so good as Batman." I don't know that even you believe that. What I think is the Nolan Batman movies are really good. That doesn't mean Christian Bale is a good Batman.
No, I mean I'm probably fairly indifferent about Christian Bale. I love the movies as a whole.
Exactly. I don't like the first one at all. I didn't like it because let's face it, it's mostly about Christian Bale, and I don't like him. The second movie,
The Dark Knight, was the best.
The second movie, we get the Joker, and he's so good. And what I hate about that movie is that we will never know if it's so good because Heath Ledger died or if Heath Ledger is just that good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Heath Ledger's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I don't know that one would be my favorite one.
I think it's my favorite one, but that's
it is my favorite.
Only from a story.
But had he lived, I don't know if it'd be my favorite.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's well, the thing,
because Bane's pretty cool.
I mean, Bane is good as a villain. I agree.
And that twist in the third movie.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, the third movie was good, definitely.
The third one had me on like the edge of my seat for most of it, like what's gonna happen next. Where most of like the Dark Knight, there's a couple of points where you get that with the Joker, just because you don't understand like how he's putting his plans together and stuff.
Right.
But like for most of it, I wasn't like that. I was just like, what's Heath Ledger gonna do next? I'm really excited to see what Heath Ledger does.
The only thing about the Dark Knight not the only thing, but one of the things, but I really hate Maggie Gyllenhaal. And I don't even think she's a bad actress necessarily. I just after Katie Holmes, who I feel like is actually a decent actress. All right, we won't get started. In the first movie, she wasn't bad, in my opinion.
Trying to do my like Katie Holmes impression.
But my point being, was that I would rather have seen her in that role.
Yeah.
In the second role than Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I got you. I'm cool with that.
That's just my opinion.
I don't care about her.
Of course, it doesn't really matter because she's dead anyway. But like Rachel is not
Katie Holmes.
No, not Katie Holmes.
Did you kill Katie Holmes?
That's right.
Jonathan killed Katie Holmes.
You heard it first here. No. But I mean that's the only thing that really is a sticking point for the second movie.
Yeah, I will say like Nolan he's a great director. The movies are good. I love the reimagining of Batman. I love making it feel more real. I mean, I love all of that. It's so good. It's very, very good. Like I said, I don't think that means Christian Bale's good. I think what you said, very indifferent. You're indifferent. I hate him. There's
I mean, I don't think he's as bad an actor as you. I mean, is your opinion of him? But at the same time, I mean, he's not like my And the thing is,
he is a good actor. I just don't think he's a good Batman.
No, I could get that.
And my favorite thing I've seen him in is American Psycho.
Yeah,
he's so good.
Did you ever see The Wrestler? Or not The Wrestler, The Fighter?
No.
You watched The Fighter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate his commitment to a role. I can get behind that. All I'm saying is, if method acting had to kill one actor, I would prefer it to have been Christian Bale. That's
fair enough. Yeah.
Because he is a method actor, and for some reason he's alive.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm an awful person. So I'm excited. The whole point of that is I'm very excited about Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I mean the costume looks great. The Batmobile looks pretty great,
and I think he understands the character. Also, he's really good friends with Kevin Smith, who is a huge Batman fan. So I don't think Kevin Smith is going to let him F it up.
True.
I think Zack Snyder can be good. I think having a seasoned director like Ben Affleck there alongside of Zack Snyder is a good idea, especially as they move to Justice League, which they've said Zack Snyder is going to direct to. With that in mind, having Ben Affleck on tap is probably a good idea, because Zack Snyder's not very consistent. If we know anything about Ben Affleck over the past couple of years, directorially, he's very consistent.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be a good one. I think people that don't like him, you've judged something you haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Christian Bale, do other things. Stop overacting. Let us see. I think that's all the questions we had on Twitter tonight. If you guys have any more questions, go ahead and ask them to us now. And we'll get a couple more questions in before we close the night. So we're going to look at a random topic real quick. There's one back. I just passed it. I do this a lot. What's your favorite candy?
My favorite candy?
Favorite candy.
Oof. This could be a fairly lengthy list, but...
Yeah. In my first favorite, and my second favorite, and my third favorite.
If we're going chocolate, we're talking... probably either Reese's or Three Musketeers, probably. I really love peanut butter, but Three Musketeers are pretty great.
Okay. Chocolate. I'm not a chocolate guy. I'm not really chocolate loving.
Oh, I love
I mean, chocolate's okay, but I don't I'm never sitting at home and I'm like, I need chocolate. I don't ever do that.
Right.
I never am like, you know what I need right now? Chocolate.
I wish I didn't think that.
But see, I do get like that, but for me, it's sour stuff.
Yeah.
And so,
like sweet tarts, I'm all down with.
No. Come on. I'm talking about sour warheads. I'm talking about warheads,
okay,
man.
You're talking about intense sour.
I'm talking about the sour that pulls the enamel off of your teeth, and the sour that you can only eat a couple of pieces and then you can't taste things for a week. That's the kind of sour. Okay. And so that's the kind because as a kid, it started as a kid. It didn't start with candy. It started with lemons and limes as a kid. Mm-hmm. I would just eat lemons and limes. I'm salivating right now. No joke. I want to bite into a lemon right now. Right. And then as I got a little bit older, my mom introduced me to warheads, which as a kid I don't think were as sour as they are now. But she introduced me to those, and those were so good. And then my mom also introduced me to, at the time they were called Shock Tarts, but now they're called Shockers.
Okay.
They still make them. And those are so good. I'm going to have to stop this conversation because my mouth is watering. But no, so sour is like my jam. And so I'll be sitting at home and I'm like, I need something sour. I need it right now. And I'll leave and I'm gonna go get something sour right now. It gets pretty rough, and it's not just sour candy. It's like sour, anything sour-ish, like pickles. I really like. Anything pickle flavored, I'll chow down on.
Yeah, pickled. Well, fried pickles.
Fried pickles are delicious. But like, so I have a bag in my kitchen right now of dill pickle potato chips. They're so good.
Those are good.
I've tried recently dill pickle pork skins, which are delicious. So anything like sour. But the question was favorite candy. If I had to say a favorite candy, it would be Shockers, which used to be Shock-Tarts. That would be the favorite. If only because I could eat more of them without wanting to die.
Right.
If I could eat a whole bag of Warheads and be able to live afterwards, then all at one time, I would do it. But I get about 4 in and like my mouth just gets all tore up.
Right.
And so I can't list them as my favorite. It's gotta be Shockers.
Gotcha.
So anyway, that was fun, and we'll do one more good one. And okay, let's go back to that one. So, what do you miss most about being a kid? That'll be our last question for the night. What do you miss most about being a kid?
This sounds like a really old person answer. But when you're a kid, you don't really have any responsibilities.
Dang straight.
So that's definitely my answer.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about, job, money, bills, rent.
Sure.
All the crap that comes along with being an adult. Even though as a kid I spent most of my time waiting until I was an adult.
Yeah.
Someone should have clued me in halfway through. But
so you gave a good answer, and I think that's probably should be my answer. But I'm going to go super surface with mine.
Okay.
So what I miss most about being a kid is a ham, egg, and cheese croissant from Burger King. Because I've gotten them recently in recent years, and they're about yay big.
Right.
Right? Yay big. I remember them as a kid being about this big.
Right.
Now, I get that I was a kid.
Right.
And that they probably weren't as big as I think they were.
Right.
But I know they are not as small as they are now. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense, yeah.
So I know that it really wasn't this big. I get it. But I know that it wasn't this big.
Right.
There's somewhere in between what my memory says and what is the actual fact.
Right.
Of what it is now, that has to be what it was then.
Yeah.
My point is, Burger King changed the size of the bacon or ham, egg, and cheese croissants, or all the croissants.
Well, so now they're using free-range croissants.
Free-range croissants. They grow a little smaller.
They do. It's more consistent.
They grow a little smaller than the other croissants. They're not pumped up with all the croissant hormones.
They're happier croissants.
They're happier croissants,
but
they're not as big because there's not enough croissant hormone injected into them. All right, so there's the problem. Free-range croissants. I'm cool with that.
I'm going to go ahead and copyright that before we do
free-range croissants.
You watch. They'll be on Portlandia probably for too much time.
All right, guys. Well, this has been episode 4 of Beating a Dead Horse. Right. We're so glad you came by. We had a lot of fun. We hope that you had fun, too. We will be here next week, this same time, same place.
Yep.
All those things that people say when they end shows.
All the things.
We will see you guys next week. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you soon. Bye guys.